Welcome to Football Fever. Hello again, everybody. I'm Alan Mandel of the Clean Daily Herald. If you want to know anything about Texas high school football, the three top experts in Texas are Jordan Mason, Albert Alvarado, and Clay Whittington. And just by pure coincidence, we have all three of them here, Jordan, Albert, and Clay. And let's get right at it because this is a huge week. The game we've all been waiting for. We've talked about it all summer, all fall. It's Thursday night. Copperas Cove comes to Leo Buckley to take on Shoemaker. Clay, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's an interesting game for Copperas Cove. I mean, there's not really anything on the line for them, but yet at the same time, there's a lot on the line. They've already got their playoff spot clinched up. They know that they're going to go D2. They know unless something crazy happens, they're going to be the second seed behind Midway. So they really don't have a lot to play for, but at the same time, they've got a bye in the regular season finale, or the last week of the regular season, I should say. They have a bye. So this is going to be their last game until the playoffs. So you don't want to go into that break coming off a bad performance. So while there's nothing really to be gained from this game necessarily, there's a lot of kind of momentum that can carry over into the bye week and possibly linger around. So they're looking to put on a good performance. They know it's not going to be easy. Shoemaker's a tough team. They've got a lot of athletes, a lot of speed. I know from talking to Coach Welch, he's scared to death of Derek Thomas and what he can do back there. But last week against Heights, they put the defense came out and put on a performance a lot of people have been waiting for from this defense. People have been waiting for this type of showing. They jumped out 41-0 on Heights and gave up a touchdown late, but dominated the whole time. And Troy Smith was running for his life all game. So the defense looked good, and I think they're feeling good. They're playing good, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can, have another good game leading into that week. Into that bye week, and especially with it being a Thursday, they're getting even another day. They see it as being positive because they get plenty of time to rest, but when you've got kids and things like that seem to linger, a bad performance or a good performance, so I know that they want to be hitting on all cylinders going into this bye week. So it's not going to be easy, but I'm expecting them to play up to their ability as best they possibly can.
Well, and we know that's a very high level if they play to their best ability, to the best of their abilities. Albert, who needs to step up for Shoemaker to pull off a win against Copperas Cove?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Derek Thomas. I think the other guy needs to step up is Isaiah Everett. I mean, there's nothing more disheartening than getting the ball run on you right up the gut, right in the middle. And, Derek Thomas and Everett have done such a good job, especially since district started, just having that option, 1-2 punch. And obviously, Derek Thomas, he's the athlete. He's, best athlete on offense. But if Isaiah can get some things going while the defense is paying attention to Derek, that could be mean some good things for Shoemaker, especially since they want to keep the ball. They want to keep Manny Harris and those receivers on the sideline for as long as possible, and keep Manny from lining up the scoreboard, just like he did last year.
Yeah.
And, Killeen's defense, obviously, looking around, a lot of those guys, they're not happy with giving up 63 points in that game last year. So they're going to be out. They're going to be, motivated. They want to, limit that and have a good performance. Now, this game is big for Shoemaker. Obviously, a win in the last two games or a Killeen loss gives them a playoff berth, so they really want to get back to the playoffs, make school history. One thing, and I know some of the guys didn't think this was a big deal, but what jumped out to me is the fact that Shoemaker has 2 weeks to get ready for this game. They're coming off a bye, played Heights on Thursday night, whereas Cove is only has 6 days to prepare. That might not be a big deal, but I just find that part interesting.
And I'm going to put you on the spot here, Albert. What's the final score going to be? Cove or Shoemaker?
I'm going to have to homer it up and go with, obviously I'm going to go with 35-34 Shoemaker, the wild one.
All right, and Clay, what do you think?
It's offense versus defense. I mean, but I think in the end the offense is probably going to win out. I'll go 35-21.
35-21 Cove?
Cove, yeah.
Cove, okay. Now let's turn to Friday night. Colleen at Harker Heights. Albert, tell us your thoughts on this matchup from the Colleen standpoint.
From the Colleen standpoint, this was kind of interesting because after that midway game, the Kangaroos really felt as good as you can feel coming off a loss. I mean, looking at it, a lot of the guys said, even though it was 49-22, but really, 14 midway first half points off of turnovers. Midway got a kickoff return for a touchdown. A lot of these are self-inflicted wounds that the Kangaroos kind of had on themselves. That being said, now is it right now we're at the point where those will cost you a season. So if you're a Kangaroo fan, you hope some of those mistakes will get eliminated because Colleen, I mean, they're not in the playoffs yet, but this is a de facto playoff game because the loser of this Colleen Heights game probably won't make the playoffs unless something really crazy happens. So, you're going to look for Colleen. Kenny Arnold, one of the things that stuck out about him is that this guy never gets rattled. He could throw 2 interceptions in the first half and he's still, slinging it all over the field. Good athlete there. And, Colleen, even though they did, give up 42 points defensively, the Kangaroo defense had its highlights like that stuff on the fake punt in the first half against Midway, the blocked punt. I mean, and the fact that the Panthers, I mean, the Kangaroos completely stuffed Midway's run game. They didn't get anything going on the ground at all.
Right. So, well, we get to root on that one. I mean, well, I'm talking, of course, about the Colleen Midway game. Is the one that we got to root for. We were rooting for Colleen, and they did play very well, like you say. Jordan, Colleen versus Heights, your thoughts on Heights?
Well, Coach Edwards pretty much cut right to it. This is an elimination game. That's how they're approaching it now. They've been calling it playoff time since they came out of their bye, and that's been 2 losses. They lost to Shoemaker by a score, and then obviously 41-7 against Copperas Cove last week was not what they wanted. But this one actually has playoff implications. If they don't win this, then like Albert said, they're probably not going back. They would need to beat Belton and then get some help from Shoemaker just to get a tie with Belton and Colleen in that scenario. So, I asked Coach Edwards, how the guys' confidence was because it's 3 straight losses and 2 of them haven't been close. And he said they still feel confident. They feel like they're an explosive team. They've played some good teams, but the problem with that is that they're playing another good one. Colleen, I saw them 2 weeks ago against Ellison. I feel like they're playing some of the best ball in the district right now. They're really peaking at the right time. Like Albert said, they played Midway close, and so Harker Heights is going to have to, number one, they got to get the offense going. The starters were shut out against Copperas Cove last week. So what's interesting with the offense is that against Shoemaker, they had Madu and Nelly really taking carries before Josh Ellis, who's been the starter all season. And then last week, it looked like Keyshawn Little, 21 rushes for 93 yards, was getting a majority of the carries. So it'll be interesting to see what they come out with, what their attack is on offense. On defense, he said he felt like Colleen, they run to set up the pass. So he's going to want to stop Colleen Yates and that stable of running backs that they have. Kenny Arnold obviously is good with his feet also. So said that's what they're going to try to look to take away. And obviously the margin for error is basically none at this point. They have to win if they want to go to the playoffs, and that's their mindset going in.
Okay. And Jordan, Waco Midway is playing Belton this week. What does Belton need to do to pull off the upset? We know they've had a really good season so far. I mean, 2-2 in district play. I mean, Coach Shipley's got the ship going in the right direction, correct?
Well, when you talk about hot teams, you mentioned Colleen, and then Belton is also playing pretty well right now. They had a very impressive win against Ellison, the first home win of the season. They finally got that out of the way, and the running game looked great again. Kaven Johnson, 4 touchdowns, 126 yards. Davion Peoples actually got in there for a touchdown. Coach Shipley was very complimentary of him last week. And Shane Stafford had 225 yards passing. You get Kobe Poppin with 104 yards receiving, and Brandon Rhodes with 84 yards receiving. So offense is running well, and the defense played a lot better than it had been against Ellison also. But obviously you've got to be all of the above against Midway to have a chance. And Colleen played Midway well. Now, that was in Colleen. This is at Midway where they're pretty untouchable, but Shoemaker went in there and beat them last year, so it's not impossible. Obviously, like I said, they had success with the passing game, but they butter their bread with that run game. Coach Shipley, says it. Shane Stafford says it. Kaven Johnson is the guy they look to get him going. Davion Peoples is key also. So they're going to want to get the run game going against Midway. And then what's also key against them, as everyone has found out, is you've got to find a way to stop that U of H commit Ben Hicks back there at quarterback. He can sling it around, and you probably want to keep him under 30 to have a chance. So be a good challenge for them. Obviously a huge game against Harker Heights next week, but if they can pull off an upset against Midway here, that game might not even matter. None of the Heights Killeen tonight on Friday might not matter, and Heights Belton might not matter if they can pull that upset off. So that's what they'll be looking to do going up there to Hewitt.
Well, we can all agree on one thing. Ben Hicks can throw the pill. I mean, he is one tough quarterback. Well, thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Clay. And thank you for watching Football Fever. We'll see you here next week.